Oh hey, didn't see you there. I was just going on a quick little crusade if you want to join me. Well, let me tell you a little secret. All you need to do is install Chivalry 2, where you can loot, pillage, and forcibly depart peasant souls from their terrestrially anchored body. First, I need to show you who to play, where to play, how to play, and more. Let me give you a quick rundown of the game. It's a medieval slasher with the goal as being as cinematic as possible, so in certain rounds, there will be a bot giving an inspirational speech before both teams charge at each other at the same time. Now, you know a bit about the game, let me guide you on picking a class. There are currently 4 classes in Chivalry 2, with each class having 3 subclasses. The classes are the Knight, the Vanguard, the Footman, and the Archer. Each has a primary, a secondary, a tertiary, and an ability. They also have perks, making them better and worse in certain situations. The Knight is probably the most popular class. With 175 health, it is the most beefy class in the game. They are able to take hits while being able to adequately dish them out. The first subclass of the Knight is the Officer, renowned as one of the best classes because of its available weapons like the longsword, as well as its ability to use the war horn, which will heal everybody in a nearby radius when used. Second is the Guardian. It is solid one-hand weapons, but the main thing is its heavy shield, so it's able to be a wall while defending, or British Giza while attacking. It has a banner it can place down that heals 18 health every single second you stand around it. Finally, the Crusader. Think of them as your heavy weapons guy, with the ability to handle some of the best primary weapons, while still being able to use really good one-handed weapons. The Crusader has access to a firebomb, a handheld explosive that is used to politely relocate friend and foe alike. Vanguards are your fast but high damage class. They have solid speed and stamina, so they're kind of a glass cannon, but they have enough defense that they don't suck. The subclasses in the Vanguard are my favorite. You've got the Devastator, which can hold the biggest of all the weapons without a movement penalty, like the Highland Sword, which can effectively remove the prefrontal cortex of many combatants simultaneously. They don't have a significant secondary though, so sometimes you have to resort to a throwing mallet and melee. They also have the aforementioned Firebomb. Then there's the Raider, which is renowned as one of the best classes. Why, you might ask? Well, they can wield 2 goddamn primary weapons, those primary weapons being some of the best, like the Messer and the Danax. They also have the Warhorn, so they have a loadout that some would call based. And now you've got the second most Giga Chad class in all the game, the Ambusher. Now, on the surface, the Ambusher might look weak, like a newborn baby. Wow, wow, wow! But no! The Ambusher is able to throw many projectiles and does 50% more damage when attacking from behind, so you need to lurk in the shadows and wait till you can peacefully make the adversary's internal organs disappear. They also have a throwable medkit that can heal allies 100 health, I think. It kinda sucks, but that's alright. The Footman is your middle-of-the-road kind of class, but that's not bad. A good Footman can easily take on a Knight or a Vanguard. If you need a well-rounded class, play Footman. But it matters a lot which subclass you choose. If you need range, play the Poleman. He has access to the longest weapons, like the Spear, which has the most ridiculous range, the Halberd, etc. All the Footmen have the Medkit as their ability, but their weapons are good enough that that doesn't matter. If you need classic sword and shield experience, then you have the Man-at-Arms. With 10% faster attack speed on one-handed weapons, you can quickly persuade the limbs of your enemies to fall off. They wield the medium shield, which I often use as a combat frisbee, but it works as a shield too, I guess. And now, the subclass you've all been waiting for, the most Giga Chad of them all, the Field Engineer. What makes the Field Engineer so fun to play then? The weapon's damage? No. The secondaries and tertiaries' usefulness? No. It's the way the Field Engineer feels. It's the way hitting somebody over the head with a sledgehammer feels, or the way it feels when someone walks into your bear trap. To top all that off, anytime a Field Engineer damages something that's classified as a breakable, they do 100% more damage. So the Field Engineer is good on attack because you can break objectives, and good on defense for making barricades. Oh boy, archers. God, I hate archers. Okay, so there are 3 subclasses. One has a bow, one has a crossbow, one can throw javelins or hatchets. Now that's out of the way, let me talk about why they suck. First, they don't contribute to the objective, they just sit back and shoot. So, in team objective mode, they don't help. Second, they just hit their teammates, like a lot. I think I've gotten hit by friendly archers more than I've gotten hit by enemy archers. Thirdly, they make the game worse. If I am what's called a 1vx situation, where I'm fighting multiple enemies at once, I get shot by an archer. That just makes me angry and I don't want to play. And it happens all the time. That kind of ties in my next point. They require less skill than all the other classes. They don't need to learn feints or when to dodge or when to crouch. They're just playing a point-and-click adventure game. One last thing. If you want to use range, just play Ambusher. In this game, there are 3 different factions. There's Agatha, with the honorable Agathan Knights, there's the treacherous Mason Order, and there's the newest faction, Tenosia. There are 0 gameplay differences between all the factions, it's just how the factions look and how their voices sound. The Agathians are led by Aragon II. Think of them as your classic good guys, with knights in shining armor and a good sense of duty. They're British and French inspired, think a mix of armor from the 100 Years' War. They're religious, with churches, and one map makes you fight in a cathedral, but there's no mention of God or Jesus, but some knights' voice lines are like prayers where they refer their deity as he and his. Personally, Agatha is my favorite faction, with their Scottish Vanguard drip being stupendous, and their maps being the bomb. The Mason Order, led by Malric, are your classic bad guys, with their standards having a red and black color scheme, and their voice lines talking about how they want to kill everything. Inspired by Germanic and Russian pagans, with one map having war priests, and the war priests are all wearing animal heads, so very polytheistic and very pagan aesthetics. My favorite trait of the Masons is their voice acting, with them having the Berserker and Dark Prince voice packs. The Tenosians are my least favorite faction, but they're simply just the newest, so it's expected for them to have less content. I like the idea of the Ottoman Empire. It's not really represented in slasher games, where it's all Europe, but they just don't have enough cosmetics nor voice lines to make them my favorite. The raising of Ascandir is really cool though, and how it's inspired by Alexandria.
A man has fallen into the river in Lego City. Start the new rescue helicopter. Hey!
The maps in this game are beautiful and really make you think you're in Constantinople in 1453. Each one is an immersive experience, and they each have their own quirks, whether that be the maps themselves, or the objectives, or the things you can pick up. The following maps mentioned are what's called team objective maps, where there's attacking and defending sides. I'll get more into that in a bit. The Siege of Rodhelm, very fun map. It's fun to push the siege towers to the wall. Overall, it's a blast. The Desecration Galencourt, probably the most popular map, and for good reason. The objectives are fun, the scenery is beautiful. The Slaughter of Coxwell. It's a nice map, it's fun to kill peasants, and it has a very funny name. The Raid on Aberfell. It's nice because you can throw people at people, and pigs at people. Pigio, oink oink. The Fall of Lionspire. It's fun to push the battering rams, and it's a well-rounded map. The Battle of Dark Forest. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I like defending on this map. The Assault on Thaix Stronghold. Initial beach storming feels something ripped straight out of Saving Private Ryan. The Escape from Fallmire. It's fun, but that bridge can be a pain in the ass to capture sometimes. The Raising of Ascandir. It's fine. I like the Alexandria inspiration, though. The Breach of Bodwin. It might be my least favorite map, but it still works. The next maps fit into what's called Team Deathmatch and Free-For-All. Tournament Grounds. Very simple to understand. Good deal of fun. Just make sure not to hit those spinny things, or you'll develop intense scoliosis. Desert. Probably my least favorite map overall. It's dark, there's nothing to interact with, and it's just the beginning to the Breach of Bodwin. The Grand Hippodrome of Ascandir. Very large for a team deathmatch map, but it's got stuff to interact with, so it's alright, I guess. Courtyard. One of my favorite maps, and if you are on the Mason side, there's an infinite amount of axes right back here. The Fighting Pit. A lot of interactable things, and sometimes I pop off. The Battle of Wardenglade. This is how you do a team objective map. It's fun, good space, cool scenery. I could play on that map for an hour straight. I'd be 100% content.
Excuse me, brah. You're excused.
For this to make more sense, I'm going to split it up into two parts. There's playlist modes, which is what you queue into in the main menu, and then there's actual game modes, which is the style of game you're playing.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Playlist modes consist of what you pick in the main menu screen, and you have a multitude of options. There's your classic 64-player mode, so that means there's 32 players on each side, and it rotates team objective maps and team deathmatch maps. It is what I and most players usually play on. There's Mounted Warfare, which features less maps, but you have the ability to go on horseback, to really make you feel like you were in the charge of the winged hussars in 1683. Horsey go nay! For people warming up or new to the game, there's Training Grounds. It is the same map and game mode rotation in 64 players, but only 4 players on your side are human, the rest are AI bots. There are a bunch of smaller game modes like 40-player and 3v3s. There are also standalone servers. Standalone servers are servers that fit a really specific niche, with the most popular ones being duels, where you do a certain interaction to initiate a fight with another player. And no one's supposed to fight another player if you didn't initiate a fight. Now you've figured out what style of game to pick. You need to know what the games you'll be playing actually are. There's Team Objective, which is the most common and will have one team attack and another team defend a series of objectives. If the attackers defeat every objective in the allotted amount of time, then they win. These are played on the largest of all the maps because you need space for each objective. Then there's Team Deathmatch, which is just which team can kill the enemy team faster. It's played on smaller maps. I believe the amount of lives for each team is 300. There are a bunch of more smaller game modes. They're more niche, 1v1s and 3v3s like I talked about earlier. Some are rotated in and out, like Last Team Standing, I think it's called, and Volley. But Volley is archers only, so it's sacrilege.
The animatronic characters here do get a bit quirky at night.
Okay, so I know the word roleplay has cringy connotations, but this isn't your quarter-of-your-life crisis Roblox gacha online roleplay. This is roleplay for big, strong individuals, with funny jokes and clips that you can use from each voice pack to make an immersive experience. Use the beautiful voice packs that Torn and Banner has created to spice up your gameplay. The music in this game is beautiful, with such amazing atmospheric songs that really make you feel like you're in Rome in 1527. The music in this game is great, but no shame on the people at Torn Manor. It doesn't hurt to put on some Sabaton or other copyright-free heavy metal and jam out. The sound effects in this game make you feel every wound dealt and received, and the sound effects are like the glue to the perfection of this game's audio. Also, the voice acting is the bomb. Literally the best voice acting I've ever heard come out of a video game.
I can hear their souls continue to scream!
There can only be one! To live without
I'll beat
liberty.
the shite out of
is
you
to
all.
die and pretend you are still alive.
The Knight has some of the best drip and style, although you need to play a lot and level up high enough to unlock the best outfits. The Footman's cosmetics are mid. They're not bad, they're just mid. They look funny though, so if you want to be a court jester, you clown. The Vanguard's cosmetics are pretty good, especially the Scottish cosmetics. They are perfect. The Archer has no drip. They might as well be wearing a potato sack. You can also customize the hair, the facial hair, the imperfections like the scars, even add the plague that makes you feel like you were in London in 1346. There are also cosmetics for female body shapes, which is pretty cool, because women are pretty cool.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
Before I explain any of the combat, if you can, play the tutorial. It is one of the most explanatory tutorials I've ever played. There are 3 types of main attacks. There's the slash, a classic side-to-side swing. You've got the stab, it's a long-range attack, yet it's the slowest. Then there's the overhead, a top-down attack that does a stupid amount of damage. Now, there are 2 ways to swing every attack. You can do a standard swing and an alternative swing, which is the same as a standard swing, but you do it on the other side of your body. It's good to trick the enemy and catch them off guard. Make sure you're not spam slashing. I promise you, if you only stab and overhead, you will win most fights. Other than your 3 main attacks, there's your special attack, which takes a lot of stamina, but it can do a lot of damage if you land it. Blocking is also a thing you can do. There are counters and riposts. So a counter is when you match an attack with the same attack that's coming in right after blocking. A counter does not use any stamina. You will learn how to counter and when to riposte with time. A riposte is when an opponent attacks you and you have a block up. That's it. The reason it's good is that if you attack right after a riposte, it will be decently faster than a standard attack. There are also kicks and jabs. You can kick when an opponent has their block up and it breaks their block. It allows you to get a free attack in. Then a jab is when you see an enemy attack coming in and you hit them really quickly with a jab and it stops their attack and throws them off. If we're going to talk about combat, we need to talk about initiative. Initiative is a core mechanic that's built into the combat system, where it becomes someone's turn to attack. If you land an attack, you have initiative. If you kick or jab, you can get initiative. It's there to punish players that are attacking when it's not their turn. If you want to get better, learn your footwork. If you learn your positioning and where to be, you will do so much better.
Let's blow those whining women back to the Dark Ages right where they belong!
The community is very silly and tightly knit. Even the smaller streamers are known to many die-hard fans of the game. It's somewhat of an older audience, because everyone who's younger usually stops playing as soon as they unlock all the characters. So everyone who sticks around is there for how much they like the game itself, which is usually an older audience. Also, it's not hard to crouch up and down, and the entire enemy team won't kill you as long as you don't kill them. Except archers. Archers will kill you, because they try to feel something after their e-boyfriend left them.
39 buried. 0 found.
Torn Banner is extremely busy and overworked, and the community is always nagging for this and for that. It makes sense why the community nags, as it takes Torn Banner multiple millennia just to add new content. But all I want is custom controller keybinds. Please, Torn Banner. Please. Alright, that's all I got for now. I encourage you to take the knowledge you have obtained and go make some friends, kill some archers, and try to not stab your teammates. Now go do the subscribe right now.